Clowney. Is that kind of where he is right now?
Well, I mean, I don't know about all that. I can say I know he's the best we've seen at this point. I mean, he's fast and twitchy and long. He's not as big as Clowney. You know, I think Clowney was a heavier guy. This guy's I mean, he's twitchy and athletic like that, but he's probably only about 230, so he's not as heavy. But he is disruptive and got great length. You know, he's giving everybody a problem. But all their ends, not just him. 11, 13, was it 94? The other end got what's that kid's last name? Funny last name. Aim Walvinsky, is that his name? Walvinsky. He's a good player. I mean, they got a bunch of them, but 99 is he's pretty special.
Jeff said yesterday that he felt that Trevor changed protections 8 times on Saturday. Would you say that was probably one of the biggest areas of improvement you've seen from him?
I think just the management, just settling into just the flow of the game within the game. That's part of it. You know, just to where the game is slowed down enough to where you're recognizing things, and some of it is just his manipulation of the cadence. We were getting teed off on, you know, a couple games ago where we just, you know, I don't think he was just kind of going out there, you know, hut, you know, give me the ball, and guys were teeing off on our cadence and just not really, you know, manipulating the defense to get some tips and things like that so that you could see some pressures earlier. And I just think he was more focused on the plays as opposed to all that. But it's just, again, he's a young player, but it's just kind of slowing down for him. And he did an awesome job. And he's just settling in, making plays with his legs. He's very confident. He's seen a bunch of looks now. First of all, he's seen a gajillion looks against our defense. I mean, our guys, it's unbelievable what we have to prepare for every day with our defense, with the looks that they give us. And then now with 7 games under his belt and all the things that he's seen, there's only so many things you can do. And so I just think he's not a freshman anymore. He's a more seasoned guy and is a little more confident and in command of what he's doing out there.
You think his internal clock is about where it needs to be in terms of the pass rush, or can he work on that a little bit, taking off and running or getting rid of the?
I think he's made a lot of progress. I think early on, you know, he's very confident in his arm, obviously, and he sometimes wants to, you know, teams are playing coverage and he wants to sit in the pocket and make the tight throw because he knows he can, but there's a clock. You know, you can only block those guys so long. And then also he'll sit in there, and then sometimes he wants to slide left or right, and that gets him in trouble because that's where we're blocking a guy. And next thing you know, you're getting sacked. And so that's just him growing up and managing the pocket and recognizing coverage. And that's what he did the other day. I mean, they went 2-man on us, 3rd and 10, and you know, he did an awesome job. I mean, that's just part of the game. Is him making plays with his legs, and that's what he did in the spring a lot. And that's where I was really so impressed with him early in the spring. Was like, wow, this kid can run, but he wasn't as in command of what was going on, so he was running for his life in the spring. And now he's a lot more confident in what's going on, and so he's a little too patient in the pocket. And so, you know, just extending some plays and getting some of those critical yards with his legs, you know, when the coverage presents itself and the opportunity presents itself. And I thought he did a really good job with that last week for sure.
Yeah, but going back to roster management and depth, I was tracking the rest of the NCAA, and Alabama's playing 48, 50 players a game. You guys are playing upwards of 75 to 80-plus players a game over the last 4 or 5 games. Can you tell us how that will affect you further going along down the season, not just depth-wise, but in other areas?
Well, I mean, you know, every year I think your roster's different, and for us, just so happens this year our roster is full of guys who we trust and who we know can go play and deserve to play. And so, I I mean, I just believe that you play the guys that deserve to play. And this is the most veteran team that we've had. And then we've got a few dynamic freshmen, young guys that have emerged as well that deserve the opportunity to play. And so, I mean, we play them. I mean, I know we've got, I think, maybe the best running back in the country in ET. I mean, he's as good as there is. We're going to play them other guys. And that helps him. And it helps, the competition and the investment and the morale of your team, all those things. You don't play guys to play guys. Everybody's got to be able to contribute to the win and help you win, and that's what I've seen. I mean, and then as you go through a season, the confidence that grows in your team, the selflessness that grows in your team, becomes very beneficial to you down the stretch. That's just what I believe. But I've also had teams where, we might have had some talent, but the drop-off was so big between the starter and the next guy, you weren't as free with how you subbed some of those guys. But with this team, we've just got a lot of guys that I don't really even pay any attention to. I know they're going to play, and they're going to play well. I mean, we got guys all over the field: safety, linebacker, D-line, offensive line, running backs, receivers, tight ends, that we're very confident in. And so we play them, and coaches do a good job with that.
Dabo, how much better is your secondary now compared to, say, 2 years ago in playing the ball in the air?
Well, we'll see as we go, but I mean, we're doing a good job this year. This has been a really consistent group outside of a few busts against A&M. We had some poor plays there, but we're doing a good job. I mean, they're making plays on the ball. We had a bunch of pass breakups the other day, really competitive plays, and with good technique. And we got the one pass interference on Mario, and that was close. But I think our guys have taken a lot of pride in it. But Trayvon's a third-year player. Guys get better, and he's worked really hard on his craft. AJ, got good experience last year. I think the influence of Trayvon has been awesome for AJ. AJ he's very focused. He's very detailed. He's very technique conscious, and he just takes a lot of pride. And he's long. So I mean, we're very talented, and you got guys that care a lot about their technique. And then we're more experienced. So same thing with Kayvon. Kayvon's a third-year player now. Muse has been here 4 years. They're just better. And Nolan is in his third season now, redshirt sophomore. Denzel is a redshirt junior in his fourth year. And so we're just a little more seasoned across the board. Mark has improved. He made a great play on the ball the other day, a nice pass breakup. He's not catching it very well when he's had some opportunities to catch it, but he has played the ball a lot better. So just a really good group, and Mickey and Mike have done a great job with that group.
Tony said he's been trying to build an offense that has answers no matter what the defense does. How would you compare this group's ability to do that with some of the teams in the past, as far as what they try to take away?
Well, I think that our guys are confident, and because we've been able to get results doing that. We've had games where go back to the Syracuse game where we got to run the ball, and it was just a force the issue type of a deal. And if we weren't able to run it, we weren't going to win the game. And so we found a lot in our gap schemes and stuff, and backs made guys miss, broke tackles, guys made big blocks downfield, and we found a way to win the game. And then some of these teams that like to play coverage and try to stop the run with maybe one less guy, we've been able to demonstrate that we could run the football. And then a team like last week that really had the good ability to limit you in the run game and challenge you to see if you can make some plays, kind of put a little more pressure on the quarterback and the guys outside. Well, I think our guys, threw for 380 yards on a good defense. And so, our guys are confident that we can run the ball and throw the ball. So I think we're one of the only teams out there that I think is as balanced as we are, running and throwing. So I think we're in a good place. Still got a lot of room for improvement, but our guys are confident that we can throw and catch and we can run the football effectively, based on whatever the defense has given us.
Coach, the next 2 weeks are noon kickoffs. I know on social media, Tiger fans have been begging for a primetime game at Death Valley. What are your thoughts on all the early starts this season?
They're always the same. Clemson fans, they don't want to hear me say it, but I always say I don't care. Just tell me when to show up. I just don't care. I just want to play. I know it's from a fan standpoint, it's probably very difficult because it's hard getting into Clemson. It's, a lot of people travel a long way, and I get all that. But why am I going to worry about something I have zero control over? That is such a waste of my time. I'm trying to get ready for Florida. I could care less because I have zero control, none. Just like we played 16 straight night road games, 16 in a row. Night road games. Several of them were game days. Well, it is what it is. We go play. That means we're home at 6 a.m. All right. That's just is what it is. You just go play the game. Get ready to play. Don't worry about it. There's nothing I can do about it. All I know is we get 7 home games. Now, if they called me and said, hey, we're only going to give you 6, well, I'd be mad about that. But we get 7 home games, and that's it. And, man, we'll play at 6 a.m., noon, midnight. I don't care. Just tell me when we're going to play. My job is to get the team ready to play. And I don't want my team worried about that stuff. It don't matter, And I think for a long time that was one of the first things when I got this job. It was like, oh, my God, well, we only play good at this time, or we only play good when we wear this uniform. Oh, it's going to rain today. Whatever. Who cares? Let's play, It's the same for everybody. And so we as a program, we don't worry about it. It just don't matter. Tell us when we're going to play, and we're going to get ready to play because we love to play. We love to play. So we're not going to complain. I'm thankful that we're on TV. There's a lot of teams out there that ain't on TV. I'm thankful that we're one of those teams that they want to put on a prime time. I know people don't like noon, but that is a prime time spot. I think it's the second. Tim said it's the second. Tim in here? Yeah. It's the second ratest.
We're on ABC National at noon.
Yeah, the whole country's going to see Clemson. It's just like the second highest rated spot there, outside of the night deal. So I don't know. I don't care. Let's go play the game.
Well,
Coach, you mentioned after the game 2 years ago, that little post-game room there in Tallahassee, you were just happy to walk in there and smile as you're leaving it. What's the momentum, when you think about a moment like that, what still stands out to you from that night? And then what's it mean to have that win carrying back when you go to Tallahassee?
Well, just something that we hadn't done. I think we'd only won there in 2006 and then 16 now. So, we had a lot of success down there, and it was something that we hadn't done, something I hadn't done as a head coach, and we'd been so close. Man, oh, man. It's like we went down there in 10, and they kicked the 55-yard field goal to beat us. We go down there in 12, and that's a crazy game. I think we got the lead, and they end up beating us in the fourth quarter, and then we're back down there in 14, got the game won about 3 different times, and I believe that's the game that we fumbled the ball right there at the end. We're getting ready to kick a field goal, and we gave up like a 80-yard touchdown pass with 5 minutes to play, and just some crazy stuff in the game, and ends up going to overtime. We lose there, so we'd had some bad things happen down there, so it was something that we hadn't done, and we were able to get that done. That was a big deal for us. And then certainly it was part of, we probably weren't going to win the division if we didn't win that game. And so it was a huge part of that team's journey that year. And so I just think it gives you a lot of confidence because you've done something. And, I'm not having to come in here and answer questions. Well, y'all haven't won there since 2006, and, is there voodoo there or whatever, all that stuff. I haven't got one question on that today. So that's really what it does. It just kind of eliminates all of that conversation. And these guys know they can do it, but they also know how difficult it is. Florida State is they'll be one of the most talented teams we play.
Yeah, but can you talk about what it means for the seniors if they could win this game to go 4-0, the first senior class to go 4-0 against Florida State?
That'd be big. I mean, again, this is a very prideful group that's very aware of the opportunities that they have outside of what our team goals are. I mean, there's a lot of, they kind of all have their goals within the goals. A lot of things that they would love to do as a group, and certainly doing something that I don't think any ACC team has done. That would be a great accomplishment for that group.
Just kind of off the beaten path you were at, but I guess Willie Taggart came and visited when he was at Western Kentucky.
No, he was on his way to Oregon. Literally, stopped by on his way to Oregon, I think.
Staffs come in all the time to visit. How is that set up in the schedule? Is it just as simple as them just calling you up? And I know you send, you guys go and see others. How does that all work? Do you do it in a certain time frame? Do you only take 5 different staffs to come visit? Yeah, it's
the coaching business is a unique fraternity. It really is. It's one of the, I don't know. It's always been that way. Coaches get together, and I mean, we have a convention every year, and you compete against each other, you recruit against each other, and then you get together and talk. I mean, I probably wouldn't have let him come if I was known he was only going to go for 10 months out there. I'd have said, heck no. But there's certain people you're not going to let come in just simply because, and they don't let you come in because that's a rival, and it's not that you don't respect them or whatever, but you're going to play them every year, or maybe they're on your schedule the next year. But it's just something. I mean, we played Ohio State that first year, and then our staffs got together after the game, or that's it's always February through summer type of a deal. In the so-called off season, that's when coaches get together, and offensive coaches get together with offensive coaches and defensive coaches, because defensive coaches kind of their own fraternity, because they want to figure out how to stop these deadgum offenses, and offensive coaches get together and they want to figure out how to attack these defenses, and special teams coaches get together and share ideas and make each other better. It's just it's just always been that way. I know I'm thankful for that. When I got this job, I went out to Texas to visit with Mac Brown and for a couple days, and to this day, that's one of the best things I've done. I mean, he was awesome. He was so helpful to me as a first year head coach, and a lot of things that I really wanted to just kind of ask some questions about and get maybe some different thoughts or confirmations or whatever. And but we do that every year, and sometimes we go places. Sometimes people come to us. A lot of the pro people, we get together with them. We have clinics. We learn a lot from the high school coaches. We have big clinics, and people come from all over, and we sit in here and talk ball till 1 o'clock in the morning when we do those clinics on Thursday night and Friday night. And so it's a lot of fun. And then you study other people. I mean, that's what we do as coaches. I mean, when we're trying to get ready for Florida State, well, I mean, we're studying Northern Illinois. We're studying Virginia Tech, and we're studying Syracuse and Wake Forest and Miami and Louisville. We're studying all these people. And so you learn from other people too, things that maybe you do, and you go, oh, that's actually a good variance from what we do, something that's base. You can't change your offense every week or your defense, but you pick up things and nuances. You see how some people attack them, and so it's just you're constantly learning from each other.
Is there a coach that you haven't got together with, but you're like, wow, I'd really love to go visit them, or really love them to come here? Like, respect them from far, but you've never got to interact with them?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Think about that. Yeah, there's probably a lot of guys. I mean, I've been fortunate to go on the Nike trip for the last several years, and that's always fun because there's usually about 20 coaches, and I've met a lot of people, like Mike Leach, for example. I've met him a couple times, and it's kind of neat to meet people that you're not around a lot. Coach Snyder, he's on the Nike trip every year, and so it's kind of neat to meet different coaches. You know, I like the guy out there at Iowa State. I think he's a interesting guy. I met him one time in the airport. He's a guy I'd like to visit with at some point. There's a lot of guys that at some point I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with.
Is Mike Leach as eccentric privately as he is with the media?
Oh, no question. He is 100% authentic, no doubt about it. A lot of fun to be around.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, appreciate